Baba is Alaafin of Molete. Voso is Oni of Molete. Idris Animashaun, Mogaji Molete.
Idris Animashaun, are you an activist?
In advocacy, you identify the problem, you call the appropriate authorities to it, then we work around policy document to provide solution. We no go agree, you no go agree.
What is the way forward?
State policing is not bad. What we fail to realize is that currently we're even under policed.
Do you think Yomi Hamza can actually be governor?
Are we really doing philanthropy to actually touch the people, or we've been doing philanthropy to wet the ground because we want to run
Contest?
These are the questions I was asking on the Twitter space that almost got me into trouble. If you don't have it, you don't have it. And you said that you go here, you drop money here, you drop money there. What is the quality of life of the people around you? For me, I don't think Alhaji is good enough to govern on your state.
You were criticizing Governor Seyi Makinde. At every point in time that I see your post comes up.
Yes. Idris Animashaun versus your state government.
How much were you paid to keep quiet?
Beyond opinion.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to yet another fresh edition of your wonderful conversation, Beyond Opinion podcast. A place where we discuss everything way beyond opinion and, of course, have you get educated and highly informed about everything and all of its nitty-gritties. I'm your darling companion. I'm your host with the most. You call me Dandy, and I love you forever. I'm not right here alone. I've got delectable, beautiful, amazing superstar Abigail Brown.
Hi.
Nice.
Hello. Abigail
What's good?
Brown is here. I'm good. The king's wife reporting for duty. How you guys doing? It's good to
Nice.
be here again to be sharing this space with you.
Thank you very much for being beautiful.
Easy stuff.
Yeah, we've got an amazing guest here today, and we'll be discussing a whole lot. And I can assure you for free, we'll have conversations that would really tickle your fancy. I've got right here Idris Animashaun. He's a social commentator. He's an architect. He's a media enthusiast.
Yeah.
He's a social media influencer. He's an activist. And he loves to call out things that are wrong.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, he goes by the nickname Longman. Idris Animashaun. How you doing, my brother?
Well, thank you so very much. It's a beautiful evening, and the weather is kind of cool.
It is.
And the weather is kind of cool, and such an amazing work you guys are doing here.
Thank
And,
you. Thank you.
Just like you said, a mix of quite a lot of things, and hopefully we're gonna have a very good conversation.
Yes, we will. We will.
Yes,
Because
yes.
one thing I like about you, you are very witty.
I am.
And when persons are witty, come on, man. I want to have conversations with them always.
We'll see how that goes.
How's it come by the name Longman? Obviously by your height. I want to know exactly who started.
Who started it? Because I like it.
Well, the truth of it is that I remember growing up in our neighborhood, and oftentimes people come at me as being tall for nothing,
Dogo.
tall for nothing, and all of that. So one day I just sat down, and if you remember very well, there used to be these publishers, Longman publishers.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yes, Longman.
So, and they wrote some of the books that we were reading back in the days when we were growing up,
True.
early 90s and all of that. So I just looked at it, Longman. I'm indeed long. So apparently
sense.
when people come at me and say you are tall, I'll say, no, I'm not tall. I'm long.
man.
What's your height?
6'4".
Nice,
You're long.
nice.
6'4".
I was going to mention the textbook Longman.
Yes, Longman
that's
Publishers.
why I really like the name Longman. But
And I discovered that by the time I was filling some of my social media accounts at the time, barely do you see anybody who was actually
Longman,
using
it's
that.
just so unique, and
Yes.
it describes you. It describes who you are. You're a long man.
But I dropped it.
You know,
You dropped it?
right?
Yes, I dropped it. That wasn't really my brand anymore.
Oh.
Because yes, it's basically Idris Animashaun as a brand now.
Oh.
Why did you drop the name Longman?
Yes, because when you start growing up, you start seeing people who idolizes you, start seeing people who consider you as their mentor, you start seeing people who feel like, yes, they love what you're doing. And one of my siblings is almost about my height. And he started adopting the brand name as well. So I felt that sometimes it's confusing for people. People call him Long Man. They call me Long Man. At a point in time, he changed to Sport Wikipedia, and of course, it's stopped because he's a Wikipedia of sports, knowledgeable, sound guy, Shola Animashaun. Yes, and at the point, I just felt like, please, if you want to take it, please just take it, because when people see me, they call me Long Man. When people see him, they call him Long Man, and sometimes
you can just claim Long Man the first.
No, the truth of it is that
that's even the UK royal.
So but you know, whether we like it or not, virtually almost everybody in the family who carries my father's gene, we're definitely going to be a very long person. So 4 boys and 3 of us are almost about the same height. So if anybody picks Long Man, they should take it.
So guys, I'm not short. He's just too tall.
Yes, I agree.
well, Dandy. Well,
are you kidding?
Well.
So this is not the part where we start intimidating people here.
Well,
yes,
but away from all of that, you wear a lot of hats. Like I was reading about you, and I saw that you wear a whole lot of things.
Yes,
but I want to hear. I have you here now in the studio. I want to hear from you. Who would you describe Idris Animashaun as, truly?
For me, it's sometimes I try to simplify it. Okay. Oftentimes, I'll just go to ChatGPT to say who is Idris Animashaun, and it's going to be quite a whole lot of information. My works as an architect in training. Why I say architect in training is because until you get to the pinnacle of you getting your certifications and all of that, you're still in training. Right? Social change advocacy, youth development coach, equally also a public speaker, speak at different events, right? And community development enthusiast. I also do a bit of sports management, sports media management, right? I also own a media company, right? So I do quite a lot of things. May 17 Solutions.
May 17.
Yes.
So what are you focused on?
We're actually focused on sport media, PR, and brand marketing.
When did you launch that?
That was 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago, and we've been doing quite a whole lot of consulting for different brands. But the way we work, we don't really want to put the brand name out there. Why? Because when you have probably because of our architectural training, because as architects you are a little bit restricted from advertising what you do. You can't just say I'm an architect and start posting building and stuff and all of that. Just like doctors and lawyers, these are professional courses. So maybe because of that, we barely put out what we do out there, but we have track records of clientele that we've worked with, and the moment we want to pitch or we feel that our brands can work together, I can send you a pitch deck, and when you study, you see the amazing numbers and previous people we've worked with, different companies and all of that. So
talking about that, let's talk about how you metamorphosed from the Long Man to the Idris Animashaun, and how the May 17
years.
Okay, why not maintain the same brand of Idris Animashaun for all of the things that you do? Is there a need for the May 17?
Yes, there is a need for it, because to register Idris Animashaun, do you want to register it as a company name? Of course, you can, but then when you are pitching for brands and they're saying Idris Animashaun, Nigerian Limited, does that really... It doesn't really cut it. That's one. And the other part of it is because of the fact that if you're looking at evolving over time, where people evolving from just being a brand name to probably a public limited liability company, then you have to look at it. The name should actually reflect what the brand is all about. Because over time, people are also going to come in. Currently, at May 17, I'm just serving as a creative lead. We have other people on board the project of what we do and all of that. So basically for now, we're doing sport media consulting and majorly PR and brand marketing and a little bit of influencing and all of that. So
nice. So let's talk about how you grew up. Run us through your growing up. I know you're a proper Ibadan boy.
No, proper.
You are a Molete bred.
100%.
Let's talk about it. Growing up, for your education, everything.
Well, for me, I grew up in a mixed neighborhood. What do I mean by mixed neighborhood? I grew up in Molete. And if you know that neighborhood very well, in the early 90s, let me just say, from
2000s.
democracy,
Yeah.
from the late 90s to the early 20s, you discover that Moleti as a whole, as a neighborhood on its own, is a hub of so many activities. You have the literate class and you have the illiterate class.
Do we have literates?
Of course, because if you want to start talking about,
He's literate. He's from Mulete.
that is not even looking at like it. You're talking of the likes of Odushote. That is Molete Okeado Road. You're talking of the likes of Awolowo. That's Molete Okeado Road.
Same Obafemi Awolowo.
Yes.
Yeah.
His house is beside Ibadan Boys High School.
Okay, he resides there, but then he's from Ikene.
Yes, but he resides there. The whole of that road, Molete to Okeado to Okebola, is a place where you have astute businessmen. You have Odutola tires as well along that road. So you have people who wakes up, go to work. You have people who along that road. You still have these road train, Rosiji Plaza, along that same road where people go to buy stuffs. I know there was a particular plaza along that road back in the days where we used to go and get architectural materials. People come all the way from the Polytechnic Ibadan to come and buy architectural materials and all of that. So it's a mix of a whole lot of things. And if you look at the Molete neighborhood, you have Ibadan Grammar School within that environment. You have Anglican Grammar School within that environment. You have what's it called? Olubi Grammar School within that environment. You have Yejide Girls Grammar School within that environment. You have St. Anne's within that same environment. Go further up, you have Ibadan Boys High School. You have Sharp Corner. You now have Timo. You also have IMG Sharp Corner. You also have this Alliance, this School of Science within that perimeter.
So it's a world of, it's two different worlds.
So that is the first class. Now the second class, you now have the who we call the Grand Master of Southwest politics, residing in the heart of the city, which is Molete. Alhaji Lamidi Aribi Adedibo, residing in Molete. And what do you expect? You expect street urchins. You expect drivers, auto drivers picking passengers from that same Molete to different parts of Southwest Nigeria, going to Lagos and all of that. So when the crisis of Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers, when the crisis was deeply rooted, that you are always seeing them fighting over garages and all of that, most of it are orchestrated from Molete. So you barely go there and not see people smoking as early as around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning.
So Togri is the order of the day at the time.
At the time, Togri is the order of the day. Of course, the security architecture in the state under successive governments, right? We should not just credit it to the incumbent government. I think from around 2007, thereabout upward, from the Ajimobi era, the era of Togri has started winding down and all of that. We've been paying close attention to our security and all of that. And they apparently, and of course, the loss of Baba himself as well also means that what does that mean is that where you see quite a whole lot of people where they get free things. So at Baba's place is more or less like a mecca of sorts when we're growing up. So it's a place where even if you don't have food to eat, go there, you see food. You see food.
How would you describe Baba Dedo?
Well, it means
what do you take of him?
Yes, it means quite different things to different people. For somebody like me, I've had a personal experience with him, which actually changed my perspective of things. Right. I remember there was a particular day I went to his place. Somebody sent me on an errand to go there with a letter and all of that. So he used to have this big chamber where people come and sit, and there is a big couch, more or less like a circular couch, but there is one particular cutout from the couch that was a little bit elevated that you notice that it's quite different from the entire seat. So the moment I entered, I just went straight to the seat because it was special. And as a young boy, I wouldn't think anything is bad in doing that, out of ignorance. I just went in there and sat there, and people were like, and I was like, what is there? It's just a seat, for crying out loud. And when the man himself came, in fact, I remember very, very well. It was around 2002. during was close to the elections, the 2003 general elections. So it was at the time when Ladoja used to come into Baba's place, used to come and discuss politics and all of that. At 2002, I was just a secondary school graduate. I just finished from Ibadan City Academy at the time. So you cannot imagine a secondary school boy sitting in a place that is reserved
For Baba.
for Baba. So when Baba came now, you expect him to tell me to just get off the seat and all of that. But the next thing he did was just sit right beside me.
Ooh.
So these are things that will stick to my head. So and those are very good impression. I also remember that each time when we're going back home late from maybe probably work or businesses, we can always lie at the security gate that you are coming from Baba's place, and they open the gate for you.
Are you guys hearing?
so everybody is always scared and all of that. So like I said, it means quite a lot to different people. If you ask his sons and daughters now, they will speak so highly of him. If you ask people who are beneficiaries of his goodwill, they will speak so well of him. But I can also tell you that a whole lot of atrocities were also committed in his name. And that happens a lot around political figures like that. People can just wake up one day and go to a particular property and put up a signboard that this land belongs to Adedibu without him even knowing about it. And people were doing quite a whole lot of stuff around that time with Baba's name.
So you mean Baba Adedibu is a good man?
Well, to me, my personal point of view, a good man,
The
somebody
experience
that
you've had with
the
him.
experience I've
Good
had with him. And I also remember that at that time when people were still doing their talk thing and all of that, I remember a particular conversation that said that in a particular conversation, Baba actually said to me that you people like you who have to go to school, you are the future of your state. So the encouragement. So it's one of the reasons why I adopted Mogaji Molite.
Okay.
I've adopted Mogaji Molite since as far back as around 2005 or thereabouts. You know, Baba Adedibu is known as Igadubi Olosha Molite, Alaafin Molite. So, and Victor Omolulushowe Mimo Olunloyo, who happens to be his neighbor, a former governor, I think 1983 or thereabout, a former governor adopted Oni of Molite. Yes. So Baba is Alaafin of Molite. Voso is Oni of Molite. Idris Animashaun, Mogaji Molite. So it's clear.
Talking about late Dr. Olunloyo,
Yes.
I saw videos of you.
Oh, great.
His late days.
Yes.
You guys visited, you guys became close.
Yes, we became so close.
He's somebody that is very cerebral.
Very highly cerebral. Highly cerebral, yes.
You know, how will you describe this person?
Oh, I can't really find I think if I have to describe Doctor in one word, phenomenal. Because if I use the word genius, it might not really convey my thoughts, because we have quite a lot of geniuses and all of that. But even in his late days, at 89, Baba would just sit here and say that, okay, that we're discussing, right? We're talking about water corporation in Oyo State and all of that. Okay, since we're talking about water, nurse, go to the next room. The third row by the left. Count from under the third book, bring it. And the moment that person brings the book, hand it over to me. Idris, sir, go to page 75, the third paragraph. And guess what? That which you are discussing is what you are going to be reading out.
Time there.
At 89. So, and after the first and the second visit, he actually picked interest in myself reading to him. So, of course, these are his books. Some of the books he authored as well. Some of the books where he particularly wrote a few chapters and all of that. And we speak a lot about Adelabu Kelemes. We speaks a lot about...
is it the father or the great father of Adelabu?
Yes.
Is it the great
grandfather? Yes. We speak about Adelabu Kelemes, and we speak quite a lot about quite a lot of issues around Oyo State and governance in Nigeria as a whole. And Baba is so highly cerebral that if he pick on any issue, he would demystify the issue and speak to details about these issues. So oftentimes I would just get a call from the wife that Idris, Papa why oh. And sometimes I'll just call Arubo boys to accompany me. So sometimes I'll be the one videoing where we'll be taking turns. I'll read for him, Arubo boys will read for him. And it became something we all enjoyed. We enjoyed those moments. And it's so sad that there was a particular thing I intend to do with him that I was unable to get out of him. But the plan was to have a shoot at Makbo Hall. He was telling me a story about how Adelabu prevented Awolowo. After they saw in Awolowo as the premier of the Western region, he was supposed to come straight to Makbo Hall. And Adelabu went to Makbo Hall before Awolowo came and shut the door that Awolowo would not enter into Makbo Hall. And for quite a lot, for a few years now, I've been researching about Makbo Hall. I've been telling stories around Makbo Hall, how great Makbo Hall is. You know, it was constructed in 1925, completed in 1929. And that means by 2029, it's going to be clocking 100 years. Yeah. And there are stories
a century.
A century. And there are stories that also says that it was built to commemorate the 100 years of existence of Ibadan as a city. You know, there is a first Ibadan, there is a second Ibadan. What we mean by first and second is the time of settlement. So there are stories that says that the final settlement happened in the year 1829. So if you look at when that building was completed, it's 1929, which coincides with the 100 years of Ibadan's creation. And if you look at it as well, if you look at the centenary building in Abeokuta, that is 1830 to 1930. There was a building that was built to commemorate that as well, right? So what it means is that after the war, people from Ibadan, some people who were part of the war, migrated to a place that is now known as Abeokuta a year after. So you look at the trend, 1929 and 1930. So yes, centenary building is 1830 to 1930. So which means Ibadan is 1829. Abeokuta is 1830, a year after. So, and you know, when they are telling the stories of Ibadan, they will say Ibadan is a place of settlers of Oyo, Ife, and Ijebu warriors who fought the war and all of that. So there's a lot.
Talking about Dr. Omalolun Olunloyo, you finished from the Polytechnic Ibadan.
Yes.
I remembered, you know, to immortalize him, the state governor at the time,
Voso Poly,
you know, renamed the Polytechnic Ibadan as Dr.
Victor Olunloyo Polytechnic.
And there are a lot of, you know,
controversies around
and what have you around it. And you love him, Baba, so much.
I love Baba so much.
And I know how much the Polytechnic students love the Article D.
The Article D of the Polytechnic Ibadan. Should we leave the D for Baba?
We're in the crossroad of Matala Baba with this school, or you want the Polytechnic Ibadan to remain?
In the real sense of it, it was a crossroad for me because I'm one of those people who advocates that institutions should not just be named just anyhow, right? And at that point in time, I love the Polytechnic Ibadan. There is a way it makes the alumnus, there is a way, some of the alumni, there is a way it makes them feel, saying that, yes, I finished from the Polytechnic Ibadan. The Polytechnic with the only Polytechnic in Nigeria with the Article D, you know, and that's just to speak to the stress and the rigors and the training that you get from the school. But at that point in time, I was indecisive of my wants. I don't know if because of my love for Baba. In fact, I remember I did a post that, yes, Voso Poly. Yeah, I was so happy. I was so happy. But the truth of it is, if it's something that is supposed to me right now, I still won't find a choice whether to stick to the Polytechnic Ibadan or to stick to Voso.
So you still didn't make a decision?
I didn't make a decision. Because if it is for Baba now, Baba is a pioneering rector of the school and a mathematician, a genius that should actually reflect what the school is also all about, right? And if you name it after him, it is not also out of place. Yes.
Let me take you back to something you mentioned. You remember before we even came live, I was asking you, how were you now able to pick a side growing up in the environment you grew up in? You said something about Baba telling you this is why you need to go to school.
Yes.
Because they need you. People need you. Was it that conversation that brought the hunger to start talking about politics and political issues?
No.
What made you? What created that drive? What made you start talking about governance publicly?
I think, like I always say, that what matters most in parenting is intentionality.
Yeah, true.
Intentionality. I remember that we grew up in a neighborhood where we have what we call Egba Adubos attending the prestigious University of Ibadan. Ololade Olatunbosun attending the University of Ibadan. You have Bukomi Olatunbosun attending University of Agriculture Maiduguri, Unimed. You have the likes of Shina Olashopo Abidikugu, who is currently vying for a post of federal rep under the platform of EDC or thereabout, attending University of Ibadan, medical doctor, a medical practitioner now in the UK. So when you grow up in that kind of setting, you wake up in a day from your flat and you look at the neighbor upstairs, they are in the universities. And of course, you people will pass through the same neighborhood to go to Molete and all of that. But those are the people that you wake up to see every day. The other people are bystanders. So it is not really, really that difficult. That's number one. And the fact that my father happens to be a graduate of civil engineering as well, you expect that it will also instill that discipline. And I remember that when we finish at Ibadan City Academy, I will have to walk kilometers all the way from Ibadan City Academy all the way down to opposite Lemi House. Right in front of that Lemi House, Genesis Hall, where you have Genesis Hall today in Challenge. Directly opposite Lemi House. We used to have a lesson there that time, prospect lesson. It was founded by Prophet Dr. Eso Folao, who happens to be, I think, a cousin to Prophet Dr. S.K. Abiara. So these are people who are intentional about education. So it was after the lesson folded up, I think they sold the land for the current occupiers of the land. So, and when you are coming, you would have passed through. By the time you are coming in from Academy, you pass through Idiare. Even if you pass through Odoba, you come out at Molete again. By the time you are coming out of Molete, you are seeing people who are from Community High School, Kudeti. You are seeing students from Yijide Girls Grammar School coming out. You are seeing people from St. Luke's Grammar School coming out. You are seeing people from Olubi coming out. You are seeing people from Anglican Grammar School coming out. And all of you walk all the way down to Molete. And as you are turning left, you are seeing people from St. Anne's already coming out as well. You are seeing, at the time, people from Our Lady of Apostle. They used to have a bus that brings them from their school. They used to have a school bus. So you are seeing, you are in the midst of fellow students who are attending solid good schools. Great because mind. When you are talking of good schools at the time, you are going to be mentioning the likes of Yijide Girls Grammar School, Ibadan Grammar School, St. Anne's, Our Lady of Apostle, and all of that. So please, why do you want to think less of yourself?
Beyond opinion.
Idris Animashaun, are you an activist?
No. Oftentimes, Oftentimes, I always try to explain that there is a thin line. Of course, it might be thin. There's a thin line between advocacy and activism. And it's very, very important that people get to understand that. You cannot be championing a cause without offering solutions.
Okay.
And that's a line between both, right? Because activism is more or less like, we no go agree. We no go agree, you no go agree. What is the way forward? But in advocacy, you identify the problem, you call appropriate authorities to it, then we work around policy document to provide solutions. And that is where Idris Animashaun comes in.
For some activists, they do the we no go agree and they also prefer solution. Do you still call them an activist because they're preferring solution? The
moment they are preferring solutions, I don't think the activism actually truly qualifies them.
Okay.
Do you understand? So, and that is what I'm saying, that is a very thin line, a very thin line. So for us, for people like myself, we don't want that tag activist.
Why?
Because there's a way it makes you feel. It makes you want to jump on almost every issue. You want to profile. In fact, you want to lend your voice to almost every issue. But you cannot be doing that all of the time. See, like I always say, causes chooses their own champion. For people like myself, what gives me the adrenaline rush to wanting to do anything is because there has been a reoccurrence of that particular thing and I know that it can be solved. And A critical example of it is the restructuring that is ongoing at Shooting Stars Sports Club. Oftentimes, if you go on my Facebook page, if you just go on my page and search Shooting Stars, you'll see quite a whole lot of articles I've written in the past, identifying the problem and profiling solutions to it. And look at it now. For the first time in 27 years, Honorable Taiwo Lekan-Salami-led administration is doing quite a whole lot of restructuring in that space. And
we're talking about TRC very well.
Yeah.
Before we dive into TRC proper, I would like you to tell me, what do you make of Governor Seyi Makinde's administration?
Well, to a large extent, anybody who is very, very familiar with me over time will know that I need to first of all take it back to 2023 when it was running for a second term in office. And for somebody like me who has been a major critic of that administration, and even till now, people often say that I've been silent.
I wanted to ask you, you were criticizing Governor Seyi Makinde at every point in time I see your post comes up.
Yes.
It's about criticizing. And I love the way you go about it.
Yes.
Because they are highly constructive.
Yeah.
Constructive critics are very beautiful.
Yes.
But how much are you paid to keep quiet?
Thank you. A very good question. A very lovely question. So the thing is this. When the criticism started, it was about identifying issues one after the other. We've identified issues with culture and tourism, which led to the split between the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism into having a separate ministry for information and a separate ministry for culture and tourism. And you agree with me that call out was needful. What we've been able to achieve with Dr. Wase Olatubosun leading the ministry now is quite different from what happened in Omitutu 1.0, right? Last year alone, they had over projects sponsored by the ministry and the ones they collaborated with creatives in Oyo State is totaling about over 100 projects. In 2025 alone. So look at the dedication. Look at what they've been able to do there. I remember that at some point in time, I was also advocating on sustainable transport mechanism in Oyo State. I spoke about the quality of our roads. And I remember that you also agree with me that as at 3-4 years ago, you can barely drive 2 or 3 kilometers in the city of Ibadan without entering a pothole. There were potholes virtually almost everywhere. And it became a major content for people like myself because the moment I posted, people would talk about it, other people would drop pictures and images of their roads that are bad. But trust me, currently, you can drive from Challenge now to Ojo without entering a single pothole. You can drive 12-15 kilometers within the city right now, depending on the route anyway. If you're on any of the trunk A routes in Ibadan currently, you will barely see potholes along the trunk A road. But when you start going into the neighborhoods, when Ajimobi was leaving, nobody actually thought there would be any serious road construction or road rehabilitation works that should be done. But by the time we're going into 3 or 4 years into Seyi Makinde's administration, we became aware that there was still so much to do in terms of road rehabilitation and all of that. So what do we have to do as citizens is by calling the government out. If they did not see some of these things, call them out so that they will see it. You can't just assume that they see everything. And it is also very important to state that a whole lot of people around leaders of our respective different levels of government are also sycophants who are not bold enough to tell them that, oh God, people are saying this, people are saying that. The moment they see somebody like the governor, Echi, yes, sir syndrome and all of that. And it's not going to be easy if you are on the inside. You want to protect your job. So, but for some of us, we're comfortable to be on the outside, but with access. So what has changed between Idris calling the government out and now is the fact that we now have access to those people we're calling out.
Beyond opinion.
oftentimes I used to joke with people that my advocacy will get to a point where we are possibly going to have Idris Animashaun versus your state government, right? And it got there. It got there because it was supposed to be a very subtle invitation that I should come. I was invited, and it was the very first time I had that kind of experience. I've had experiences with the police before, people reporting my activities, go there, defend myself. But DSS, we all know what that means. If they say DSS is inviting you over more than 6 hours.
7 hours.
7 hours.
So, you know, at that night, I could barely sleep. I was making calls, talking to a few friends of mine, spoke with Argo Boy, spoke with a couple of people. I saw and some few friends, and they were like, okay, if they are inviting our champion, then let us all go in convoy and go and answer the questions. I said, I'm the only one that they invited. They said they have invited all of us. You know, so it was more or less like a movement of sorts. And when we got in there, we were there. The first hour went by, you know, on the ground floor. Everybody sat on the ground floor. We were there. Then I was invited to one small office. I was made comfortable, you know, give you water. You feel like everything is fine. You're having a chit chat and all of that. It was at the point of writing statement that they will now start telling you that, but that thing you said the other time, put it there. I said, but we're having a conversation. We're just having a conversation. I said, you have to put it there now. But you said this, you said that. I said, yes, I said it, but my caution said that anything that I write here can be used against me at the court of law. So if I said something to you and I decide not to put it as part of my statement, you can't force me. So we started having these issues back and forth, interrogated about my involvement in some of the cases and some of the concerns that I have raised. I've raised concerns about the activities of Oyo State Agribusiness Development Agency, ably led by Dr. Deborah Konde. And I remember that I have quite a whole lot of publications on the internet at the time. I still have them though. And this is somebody I've met before. We've had these conversations even behind closed doors before with journalists and everybody being there. But I continue to ask these questions that you expect every citizen should be asking. So when you now become about the only person who is asking these questions, then you start to wondering, if anything happens, they will tell you that who sent you.
Exactly.
So
These are the implications.
So now from the ground floor to the first floor, you now discover that you're already getting farther from where your people are on the ground floor. So it became, if you are somewhere, a strange place for more than 6 hours. And trust me, if 100 people had followed you in the morning, by the time you are coming out in the evening, you know how many people that will be left. So let's assume that you are held there for more than 24 hours. If people do protest that free long man today, free long man tomorrow, I can assure you
on the third day they are gone.
On the third day, and you can't blame them. They have to move on with their lives. And I will give you instances. Nnamdi Kanu has been in custody since. Nobody talks about him currently. That's number one. Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, a former minister of the FCT and a two-term governor in Kaduna State, is in custody. Nobody talks about him other than his family. The only people that will feel the impact of whatever happens to you are your immediate people.
Absolutely.
People are going to move on. So, and you know, when conversations start to become psychological, trust me, if we're not built strong, if this actually happens to the Oyinbo people, they should probably be suing for psychological trauma, emotional blackmail. You start thinking that you needed therapy. You know, when you're being told that this same thing is what somebody did and it disappeared, and that is Daddy Yatta. Till today, no record of his death.
No one knows where Daddy Yatta is.
Nobody knows where Daddy Yatta is.
These are the fears. And
so you were intimidated.
To a small extent, because the conversation was to, in the real sense of it, the conversation was to just more or less like for them, I'm not saying that they don't know what they did by bringing up that conversation, but the truth of it is, in a civilized setting, bringing up that conversation is even something that one can sue them for, because it's more or less like an indirect or a subtle way to tell you that it's better. And truly, let us be sincere with ourselves. If somebody had gone through that route to write a petition against you and they ask for evidences and you're able to provide the evidences that these are the things that I have said.
But do you like calling names?
Well, I've mentioned names already.
So who petitioned you?
It
to the
was
DSS?
Dr. Debo that petitioned me. Everybody knows now. It was the DG of, it was the Director General and Executive Advisor to the Governor. So it's a no-brainer, right? And afterwards, we never had any engagements.
Are you guys cool now?
Yes, we're cool now. We're cool
You
because
still keep close relationships?
no, we don't have close relationship. But
We
the reason
talk?
why I said we don't talk, the reason why I said that we're cool now is because I have abandoned the matter. So and ordinarily, when you abandon the matter, it means that you don't want to talk about it anymore. Not because
But the EU thing that was happening at the time that you're calling out, are they still there?
because the truth of it is that there were a whole lot of issues around it, right? I was asking about Fashola Farms and the impact on the people, right? And he was able to provide some responses as well that yes, agribusiness separate, smallholder farmer separate. With Oisada, they are dealing with the business end of agriculture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the Ministry of Agric is dealing with smallholder farmers. So now the question is, the people that were taken to Nasarawa for training, what was done to them, right? And just a few weeks ago, some of them have started receiving grants from the state government, and these are some of the results of this call out. But like I said, if you choose to champion a particular cause and you decide not to champion it anymore, we all have huge followership. Some of you
Absolutely.
people are working on radio, so sometimes you begin to wonder, why do we leave it to people who are even marginalized voices to be talking about these things? So we have bigger platforms in Oyo State. We have radio presenters who should be doing the investigative journalism that they are projecting on citizens like myself to be championing. So I always tell people that please, Idris is not the only one that should speak. Everybody can use the medium they have to speak for these things. So projecting it that Idris, you abandoned us. You yourself use your page.
People do not have that kind of courage to speak out. They see what power can do to. You see your story you're just telling us and how it didn't affect your voice, but somehow you just had to pull back.
Yes, I have to.
Exactly. So we have seen that people who speak up most times end up bearing the terrible parts of this. This is the reason why most Nigerians will shy away from having this conversation.
How can we fix that?
I think from my own end, from my personal perspective, right, I feel that it's about how intentional you are. For somebody like me, in all honesty and fairness, I'm still a refuse dump of some of these complaints. I get these complaints a lot. And just a few weeks ago, I got a complaint about a section of Ido-Erua Road that is still currently under construction, and it got bad. And pictures were sent to me. And the moment the pictures were sent to me, I sent it to appropriate quarters. And trust me, within 7 days, it was fixed. Yes, it was fixed. I have every track record of these things. But the truth of it is that it didn't make it to the internet. I didn't have to go and call them out before I got it done. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying now? Now I have direct access to stay on that person's neck. And it becomes easier. You know why I'm saying it becomes easier? It becomes easier because I am not in any elective position. I am not given any appointments. So ordinarily, there is nothing that should actually stop me from talking.
So now that you're closer to them, do you get incentives from them?
No, because that is where the problem is. The moment you start getting incentives, the moment you start getting or demanding reward for you being close to them, that is you being bought over. You will lose that access. You will lose that your voice. So I can just wake up and pick up my phone and say that, CEO, this is wrong. And the truth of it is that people send this to me to post it. And you know what this will do to your administration. Opposition will feed on it. And they will make a case out of it. But the unfortunate part of it is that even when I was more or less like the only person who is doing all of these things, oppositions were feeding on it without any support to the person who was championing these causes. So to what extent?
So the Governor Shemaki administration have not rewarded you for any of the activism
up till this moment. And the truth of it is that why should I get rewarded for the...
Maybe you're not demanding, maybe then find you worthy, to...
Worthy of calling them out?
No, find you worthy to compensate you for the effort you're making.
The truth of it is that you have decided that you want to stand by the people.
Exactly.
Not that truly and truly, let's be honest with ourselves. The moment people start resigning for position currently to run for elective position, it means that there is a lot of vacancies right now, isn't it? So what stops me from requesting to be part of the
Do you
administration?
support any party right now?
No. I've always been a candidate person. In the last election, I supported Honorable Akinshete Olakunle of the SDP, who was running for House of Assembly.
Now,
Even then, he ran for House of Assembly, under SDP.
He was then the SA to.
So after then, he was appointed as a special advisor to the governor on housing and urban development, right? Then he resigned his position to run for elections now under the APM, right? Now, that same election, I was supporting Honorable Dakpo Lam, who was running for Federal House of Rep, Ibadan Southeast, Northeast Federal Constituency, my constituency. That same election, I was supporting Seyi Makinde for governor. That same election, I was supporting Tinubu for president. So what it means is that I've always been identifying with candidates
and not the party.
Not the party. So if I find you worthy, even if you are from a smaller party, if your ideology is something that resonates with, then I'll support you.
If the government want to compensate you, for the hard work you've done, monetary wise or gift or what have you, will you collect it? Coming from their heart, not you demanding from it.
Bro, why should I reject it? The truth of it is that, let me give you an instance. When the state decided that they wanted to reward me for my advocacy at the Oyo at 50, it's a state award.
Yes.
More or less like the federal, if the Tinubu-led administration decide that they want to reward you for your community impact and all of that, and they say that you should come and take MON or come and take CFR or come and take any of the national awards. Of course, you have the right to reject, but how many people have actually rejected it? Because it is the state that is conferring that title onto you. So of course you are at liberty to reject, but why should I?
I feel if you collect it, it might gag your free expression.
That is exactly.
You might not be able to call them out directly.
Of course, whether you like it or not, it actually limits what you can do. Depending.
Absolutely. Is that what you want?
The truth of it is that there is no offer on the table yet. So, like I said earlier on, just like when you were asking me about the Polytechnic Ibadan being renamed VOSO, I was indecisive. So until when you are at that crossroad, that is when you decide whether you wanted it or not. But the truth of it is, if I actually wanted it, I have access to actually request for one. And I don't know how far this podcast can go, but I can tell you, anybody in government can testify to it, that I have never at any point in time requested for anything or lobbied for anything. And it is also on record that at some point in time, before even the access got this closer, there have been offers on the table that I rejected. So which means that I can still reject.
Okay.
So do you see yourself as a politician?
Oftentimes people do say, but I don't, because you should...
not yet, right?
Not yet.
Are
Because
you still going to be a politician sometime?
I really don't know, but things can change. Just 2 or 3 years ago, the same election that we're talking about, the 2023 election, I had the opportunity to also run on the platform of AAC for a federal rep position, but I decided against it. Then I also discovered now that we're now having a good mix of young people wanting to be governors of Oyo State now. You have the likes of Biola Adeoye, who is just about 44 years old, wanting to be governor of Oyo State. You have Saheed Oladele as well. You have the likes of Muyiwa Gbadegesin wanting to be governor of Oyo State. And you look at it and you look at yourself. What are they doing differently? If they can aspire to govern the state, why can't you? Right? So for now, I am not a politician. I don't carry card of any political party, but I can tell you the leadership of this state in few years from now, we're really going to get involved, not get involved as bystanders, but get involved fully. Take a look at it. The next 9 years, there's going to be another election cycle. So you can prepare yourself for 2035.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But let's talk about 2027 now. Do you have any front runners in mind Is there any candidate?
Who is the preferred candidate for the governorship election?
Any candidate?
For me, there's been conversations and all of that, and for now, I think amongst all the people that I've spoken with, right, because we have links to virtually almost all the candidates, and some of their followers, executive assistants has also reached out. But I think Bimbade can be somebody who resonates with me, whose ideology resonates with me, and it's basically because of the fact that that is a candidate who is not coming from the perspective of being a philanthropist.
So he's a technocrat.
Yes, a technocrat that being a philanthropist, that I have done this for the people, I have done that for the people, because it's one thing that I personally really don't like. Of course, there is no way you want to talk about Guba aspirant that people will not ask questions about the track records and what they've done. But we have to first of all, like the Yoruba adage says that
Translate.
Yes, I'll translate that. If I want to get you a cloth now, you have to look at me first and look at what I'm wearing. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so
sure.
if you want to say that you want to do this, you want to do that for the people, we should
have you
look
done?
at you first. What have you done for yourself? So, and if you look at this guy, good guy, check his resume, what he's done for himself.
He was the
guy
commissioner for finance
under
during
Ajimobi's, and he's currently the chairman of the rehabilitation of maybe immediate chairman. I don't know whether he's resigned or there, but chairman of the upgrade of Alaka to international airports and all of that. So good guy, solid guy, looking at where he's coming from.
Beyond opinion.
I was in a conversation with some people yesterday, and I was speaking out quite a whole lot of things that this administration has promised but failed to deliver on. And the person was like, you have all of these and you are not putting it out. I say, why should I be the only one
To keep
who
talking.
continue to keep
Give us
talking? And
examples
there are so
of it.
many of it. Okay, let me give you an instance. If you go and sit down and read the roadmap to sustainable development of Sheyi Makinde,
Yes.
go and check his promises on water resources. Go and check his promises on rule of law. Go and check his promises on sports development, right? Youth and sport development. At least I remember that there was a particular part of the promises on youth and sport development is that Governor Sheyi Makinde is going to give 1,000 laptops at the rate of 250 laptops per year to youth of Oyo State at 250 per year. The third year is over now. Nothing has been given out. But the truth of it is that why should it be Idris alone? Even in that roadmap to sustainable development, His Excellency also promised that they're going to build co-work hub, tech hubs across the region. There is none for now. Of course, there is a whole lot of positives under the sports, youth and sport development that I can continue to mention. Like they say they are going to train 1,000 people on tech skills. And we've had 2 different events that was either partnered with private individual. I remember that Oyo State government have been a huge support and partner to the Ibadan Tech Expo.
Yeah, I hosted 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
And the one last year as well, they were part of it, which is for the people of Oyo State. And I remember that at the moment Prince Adeboale came on board as chairman of Oyo Youth Development Agency, there was also a tech event that held at the same venue where Tech Expo was held. And some of those people right now are doing so well.
A private one.
Which I think the government should also look at partnering. You know, the government cannot do it all, but this partnership, just like what we had with the Ministry of with the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, we can do the same with Ministry of Youth and Sports. Maybe we would have been able to do that. Imagine if a proposition is actually made to corporate brands like MTN, Airtel, Globalcom, and all of that. How much is 1,000 laptop? But definitely somebody somewhere is not doing something. Someone somewhere is not doing what they are meant to do. But like I said, as much as we're talking about the positives, there's still quite a whole lot of negatives that we should be talking about. But why should it be only Idris Animashaun that should sit down and be extracting it?
Well, these things are there. Like very dark man and
so very dark man is a separate individual. Idris Animashaun separate.
So before I go to the VDM, do you see yourself as the only person doing that in Oyo State?
At the time when I was doing it. I'm not really saying that I was the only person doing it, but because I've been doing it consistently, I've been able to build the audience. And when I post stuff like that repeatedly, it was built over time.
There's this guy that does MC Bull something. So I can't remember his name. He does it with Yoruba language. Calls out the government. Is it Bokata or
Bokujaka?
Bokujaka. Yes.
I think Boku has not been able to niche down.
Okay.
What I mean by niche down is that when he calls out the government today, he goes back to calling out Thai currency, Pasuma, Said Oshopa, doing
so you think there's a need for him to niche down?
So if you want to do that, you have to niche down. You have to niche down, and people will see you. When I was doing it, everybody knows that in a week you see me identifying with one issue or the other. So you can always come to my page to come and get what is trending in Oyo State.
Well, I like the guy, great guy.
Of course, great guy is my friend. Awesome guy.
Yeah, and when you started, did you niche down?
Yes, I did, because all I was doing at the time, everybody started calling me Mr. Open Letter, because I chose first.
Yes.
I chose my medium of communication, and I stuck to it. That I want to be known and be seen as somebody who writes open letters to call out the government. So after doing that, I also discovered that if I record videos and I list it with Yoruba tune, as in Yoruba language, people often identify with it because it resonates with them. I'm speaking in a tone they understand, in the language they understand. So after writing the open letters, I also do videos to also discuss these issues.
So you feel there's a need for Bokujaka to niche down?
If he wants to continue in that line, he can niche down. I also remember that at a point in time, Agubos was also niching down on environment, right? He was taking pictures of the dirty places in Ibadan, and he was continuing after I had stopped it, because I now have an awareness of the challenges. Even the state government is aware of the challenges. If you have a ministry of environment that has changed commissioners up to about 6 times in 6 years, it means there is a problem, and the governor himself has publicly addressed and admit to the fact that he has failed in environment. That is pure honesty. The moment you identify that there is a problem, and they continue to try, because if they are not willing to try, they won't be changing commissioners over time. And I think it is now up to professionals in that industry. I think Its Excellency will have to possibly call a stakeholders meeting, a large and robust stakeholders meeting that involves the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, the Nigerian Institute of Architects, people who are in environment and all of that, urban and regional planning and all of that, to come together and find a lasting solution.
So Dr. Governor Shemakinde's administration over 10?
Over 10. I'll do over 10. I'll do a 7.
That's solid. 7?
Yes, I'll do a 7.
You think 7?
Yes, I'll do a 7.
So now,
the reason why I would say
where's the strong point?
Infrastructure.
Okay.
Yes, infrastructure, because
how much are we about in infrastructure?
Infrastructure, considering the fact that infrastructure is into so many. Part of infrastructure is housing and urban development, which I don't think that we have actually really. I can't say we've performed so badly.
There are a lot of estates under his administration.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But the point is, the estates that we're talking about, these are private estates, right? These are private estates that is not meant for the average citizens, right? And some of these estates are not even site and services. They are estates of people buying large hectares of land somewhere around Monia, and
I'm talking about the urban estates. We have the Baywood, we have one very
these are not low cost, these are not low cost housing. These are not low cost housing estates. So that is why I'm saying that if you want to talk about infrastructure,
so are you faulting that?
I can't really say I want to fault it, but the point I'm trying to make is that what provisions are we making for the middle class? These are the questions that we should be asking. And I won't say because I'm close to a whole lot of people in government now, and I won't say these things, because these are the issues that we should be addressing. And the governor is actually open to these conversations. But today, you pick on housing. You are discussing it, or you are yet to get done. You jump to environment, you are discussing it, you are yet to get done. Tomorrow, you are on sport, you are yet to get done. So when I had the opportunity of meeting the government, I chose something that is concerning, a particular concern, and I discussed shooting stars. We discussed sport development of your state. Yes, I've met quite
to have discussions with him as regards things that are bothering you.
Yes.
So in infrastructure, you rate him over 10. How many are you rating him over 10?
In infrastructure, I'll still rate Governor Seyi Makinde 6.5 or 7 in infrastructure. That's why I'm picking 7, because there are places where you possibly want to rate His Excellency around 8 or 9. There are places where you will possibly get a 5 or a 6.
Road construction,
that's a 9. That's a solid 9. The amount of kilometers of road in Oyo State, bro.
Yeah.
Education. Maybe a 5.56. Maybe a 5.56, because these are honest assessment, because
So-
you have to look at even that alone.
that's
In fact, that
mathematically.
alone is also tied to infrastructure, because you have to look at how many model schools has been built under this administration, the level of rehabilitation of some of these schools, and you agree with
He
me
did
that
some couple.
yes, I understand. In fact, the 2025 appropriation bill allocated about 40% or thereabouts of the budget to education infrastructure. Whether they've been able to draw from that and what is being done from that, you possibly need to ask the Commissioner for Education to probably come and give an account of what has been done with that. But like I said, there's still a whole lot of work ongoing. If you ask us now in health, I don't think
over 10.
of course, I don't think anybody has done as much as Seyi Makinde when it comes to health in Oyo State. The amount of PHCs that was renovated at a stretch, to 1.0, and a whole lot was also being done, to 2.0. But at the same time, there's still a need to pay attention to our general hospitals, and that is what is currently being done. General hospitals, and that is what is currently being done. You agree with me that just a few months ago, work started at the abandoned general hospital, Lautech Teaching Hospital in Oyo. So there has been some improvements in the health sector, but there is no sector you pick that you won't see that he hasn't touched.
Security, how we rate him?
I think before the recent kidnapping, Oyo State has not performed badly in terms of security until this.
Until now, there are times that he was aiding talks.
Seyi
Oyo
Makinde,
State?
yes, aiding talks in
Yes.
Oyo State.
So when the whole is it Tokyo that is in the prison right now? Or
that's Mukala Auxiliary.
auxiliary, yes.
For
Now.
every successive administration, they've always had their own fair share of associating with members of whether the National Union of Road Transport Workers or the PMS that they are called now, right? They are citizens like you and I. And everybody is always trying to associate with the government. So whether we like it or not, at some point in time, they had people like that around the government. But the moment the government found out that these people are probably constituting nuisance and they are growing beyond what they can manage, then they have to clip the wings. And trust me, since Alhaji Tommy became the PMS chairman, we've never really had those kind of issues that we used to have under Alhaji Mukala Auxiliary.
I think if we're being honest, Seyi Makinde has a good track record. He's done amazing stuff. But with the current situation, Oyo State is now like a hot zone.
In fact, as I'm talking to you right now,
so before we go to the current situation right now, every government, to a large extent, most governors would have all these NURTW, what have you, in the administration. We know if you pick from Akala, late governor Alao Akala, if you pick from Ladoja, there'll be one person that is attached. Either one person we would attach somebody, Eleomo with somebody, Tokyo with somebody, Auxiliary with somebody. Must it be like that?
This is the first time we're now having everybody together on the same platform.
Do we have that now?
Yes. That is what you have at the PMS right now. You have people who are former loyalists to Tokyo at the PMS. We have people who are former loyalists to Alhaji Tower at the current PMS. We have disciples of Alhaji Mukaila Auxiliary, even at the PMS currently. So what they've been trying to do, from what I think, or from what we've been seeing, was, I think, hell let loose when there was growing talks to bring everybody on board. And that is when issues started to escalate. I know we're the one who suffered for this administration, everybody feeling somehow so entitled and all of that. And I feel that we've not been getting the best out of some of these people. What I mean by getting the best out of them is we've not been really having conversations with key actors in government. You know, we're always, most podcasts is always speaking bystanders when we should actually be bringing
the people
in government to come and probably give an account of their situation. Probably bring somebody like Alhaji Tommy to come and talk about the restructuring since he became the chairman and what they're doing differently. The PRO of the current PMS is a very solid person that if you bring him on his podcast, he will take you to, he will talk numbers and he speaks so well, so diligently, and you wonder how somebody like that is in that system. But if you don't have somebody like that in that system, how do you revolutionize their operations? How do you ensure that from their appearances, from their conduct, from this and that, you know? Few days ago, I think few weeks ago, I saw an article from Adedamola Layade, a social critic as well, who is talking about how the PMS can now formalize logistics handling. You know, everybody now, people feel like if they have to go to some logistic company to go and send their goods, probably the DHL, the God is Good, GIGL and all of that is quite expensive. But if you go to any of these terminals, they can send the goods through drivers to another state. Now, instead of you sending through drivers, why can't the PMS owns their own logistic company so that they are the one who receive these goods and send it to the parks? Of course, if they send goods for you from Lagos, now there are people at the park, the stores at the park who will receive the goods on your behalf. You don't have to bother about the time of the driver's arrival. By the time you're going the following day, maybe they will tell you to pay 500 or 1,000. Yes, but the point is, are they not seeing it? That this is an entire chain of business that they should own. Of course, they are charging those people who are there as well, but they should own the business and take over it. Since they are the ones who the bosses are registered to them, so why not just own the business? And that is the mentality.
You see why we want you to keep speaking. We don't want you to stop.
We're discussing security. We're talking about the Orire local government stuff. We're discussing security.
Okay, no, where I was headed, I was going to say Seyi Makinde has good track record. He's been doing fantastic stuff. But with what's currently happening, it feels like a drop in the ocean. And before we even have the time to like clap and applaud the things he's doing,
this has watered down quite a whole lot. And the insecurity is something that cuts across board. I was discussing with Fedolakpo Eson on a Facebook Live a few weeks ago that I recently had a conversation with somebody about 2 or 3 months ago where we're saying that if something is happening in Kwara and somebody in Oyo State is sleeping with 2 eyes closed, then we don't know what we're doing. And unfortunately, it is something that we did not even bring to the social media. We're just having the conversation.
We're just talking about it.
We're just talking about it. That if something is happening in Ilorin,
it's behind you, it's in your backyard.
Kwara here shares boundary with Oyo State. Ogbomoso is here. Ilorin, Ogbomoso Road, Ibadan, Ibadan, Oyo, Ogbomoso, Ilorin. So if something is happening in Kwara and you think that Kwara is far, and now it is all up on our faces.
The whole part of Nigeria is affected. Before, we used to relegate insecurity to the northern part of the. But my goodness, has it trickled down to almost the 36 states? I cannot think of one state.
I was in Port Harcourt 3 days ago, and I was there for a business meeting, and I was trying to think of it in my head that probably because you have to cross through River Niger to access maybe southeastern states. And I looked at it that It is only when you are coming from the west
From the
that you
west.
have to
Yes.
cross through River Niger.
Yes.
If you are coming from the north, you are
Yeah,
not
boy.
crossing any River Niger.
that's-
You are there
Yes.
at the boundary. Take
Yes.
for instance, Ebonyi, just like you said, shares boundary with Cameroon.
Yes.
Insurgents can come in
But
from
share
there.
boundary with the northern states in Nigeria.
As well, shared boundaries with other states
Yeah.
in Nigeria as well. And you begin to ask yourself, if amongst all places in Nigeria, something like that is happening in Ogbomoso, then somebody in Ibadan is sleeping with his two eyes closed, and we're not looking at what can be done.
Is the government
and
doing
we're-
enough?
And we are politicizing it.
Is the government doing enough?
Well, you really can. For me, I don't want to assess the government of the day in respect to that, because everybody has been talking about the bottleneck with respect to state policing and all
please.
of that. And the truth of it is that for every policies of the government, there are pros and cons to it.
Absolutely.
There are
So
pros
do
and
you want
cons
the
to
state
it.
policing?
I've always been an advocate of state police, but it has to be regulated. And let me give you instances. Let me give you instances
Okay.
of why I said that state policing is not bad. What we fail to realize is that currently we're even under policed.
Okay.
And that's the numbers.
Okay.
Let me give you an instance. When I was living in Enugu, I lived at number 44 Uduma. Now, from New Haven Primary School, there used to be a car that was parked there permanently. They run shift. The car that parked at the New Haven Primary School knows the police officers there. They know everybody who lives in that neighborhood because the cars are parked there. So they know the people that drives in 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
They know the people, they know us that drives in at 1 a.m. in the morning. So they know other people that drives through the road to link other neighborhoods. So if there is a problem, they know where
They
to
know.
go. On a particular night, there was a mad woman that came into our apartment and went into our kitchen and ate all the soup. And by the time we just ate the pot, dropped down. You know, I said I sat there around
Yes.
20. So by the time we had a pot drops down in the kitchen, we all came out, beat up the woman, and the noise from where the woman was making noise, walking across the road, the police officers already knew where such could happen because they know that it was only in our compound where we have able-bodied youths who would possibly do that kind of a thing.
Yes.
That is what state policing would do because they will identify every individual. I'll also give you an example. If you're driving from the Bank of Industry at Yagonku,
Yeah.
Mingus Resort, when you're coming from Olubadan Stadium, driving straight,
Yes.
by the left you see the bank, the lawyers, or by the left you see NTC by
Yes.
your right, Bank of Industry by your left. By the time you make that turning to your right, that road used to be very, very silent and dark at night. That a whole lot of atrocities used to happen there. Guess what changed it? They just put an Amoteco car there. And the insecurity on that street moved from like 100 to 0. It's
No
been
way.
long we heard anybody saying that because you can't drive that road at night without fear of
Of
people
being-
attacking
yeah.
you, people obtaining you and all of that. It's close to Sunshine Schools. As if you
I
are going to
remember
Joyce
the comedian remotes,
Yes.
was attacked or what have you around.
So, but
that road
now we
at the
now
time.
have one Amotekun car that is permanently stationed there. So at the site of security operatives alone, whether Amotekun, whether police, or whether army, or whether operation boss, so at the site of it, there is a thing, there is something that would touch your brain.
yeah.
Like it's normal. So, but like I said, if you're talking about state policing, what are the pros and cons? I personally, while we're advocating for state policing, what we should actually be doing is massive recruitment into the police and improve their welfare. If you do that, you would have
And
possibly
quality
solved.
training too.
Thank
Yes,
you.
if you do that, of course, the essence of state policing is to have more hands. Why not get more hands and still put them under the federal
Exactly, because there will be,
federal structure?
at
Because the
end of
moment,
the
at the
day-
end of the day, the people that you are weaponizing now, trust me, the people that you are weaponizing, trust me, they will not be at the mercy of state governors. And we know currently, state governors are currently like emperors. So if you now weaponize state policing, if you allow them to go above and beyond, how do you control that? But because the federal government is more or less like taking an exception, that, okay, fine, let us go through the state policing route, I can tell you the consequences might be very, very bad, because it means that the federal government is saying that I'm leaving the security of the state to the state governors. The consequences might be very, very bad. So, and these are the issues that you expect us to be having dialogues over, other than
so many countries have got state policing, have improved security system.
I'm not disagreeing with that fact. What I'm saying is that the system and governance is what I'm concerned about. Currently, if you go to the police barracks across Nigeria, you see infrastructural deficits. You will not find it very difficult to relate to why some of them behaves the way they are behaving on our roads. The quality of lives is not something to write home about. Take a drive to Ele right now, Ele police barrack. You see buildings without roofs, and you see people who are occupants, police people who are living in there. But guess what? They can't come out to come and complain. It's the same thing across board. In politics, in governance, in leadership, in across all sectors of our daily lives. You see some of these challenges that people cannot just come out to come and talk.
I'm also not against the state policing thing, but I don't like the way people are talking about it to make it feel like that's what's going to rescue Nigeria from the current insecurity.
I don't think it will solve it.
There is a problem. There is a rot system in the policing structure already.
In our security architecture.
There is corruption in the police. So what makes you think adding another sector of the police would stop all these things from happening? What happens with power tussle? Beyond opinion.
Do you think government is doing enough to rescue the kids that have been kidnapped almost 30 days
almost
right
30
now?
days.
Do you think government is doing enough?
We really don't have information in the real sense of it to
because I know there's a need for it to be discreet as well.
Yes. Aside from trying to be discreet, we don't know the current situation in Oriri. We don't know who is there. We don't know who is coordinating what. But from the information that I personally gathered, I was rightly informed that the IG of the police has been there twice as well. I also have information that Governor Seyi Makinde has been having sleepless nights.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of troops and cars and weapons
you
being
agree
transported.
with me that a whole lot of things are already on ground zero currently as far as the state is concerned.
Because
it's more or less like
the reason why the
there's really nothing
did not come is because they went there today.
You see.
You know?
If you look at it, let us even leave sentiment aside. It's looking more or less like as if nothing is currently happening in the state because of that situation. In the real sense of it. In the real sense of it.
Nothing can really happen right now. Everybody is
just
demoralized
and all of that until those kids are out before we can get them.
Let me keep my thoughts.
Do you think it is highly politicized?
Well, if you look at the metrics and the trajectory of how it happened, some people have been saying that if they looked at it, it looks politicized. But for me, as much as I really don't want to believe it, it's the first time we're having this kind of large-scale
abduction
in Oyo State. And it is happening just few hours after declaration of Seyi Makinde for president. Of course, people are going to be projecting a whole lot of things.
They'll connect some dots.
I was like, wait a minute. What's going on?
Yes, you see, leave politics for politicians. Leave politics for politicians. But when they say it, you want to reason along with them. But the truth of it is that we should not look at it from that perspective. We should not join them to politicize it. We should look at it holistically. We've also had a report. I believe that I was the first person to actually even break the news of the demands of these insurgents requesting that they want 2 eluxes, they want money paid to. That was from a source, and it was from a reliable source, right?
And there's a video of the speaker,
and the debunk, and the speaker also spoke something around that as well. And there was also a video from the camp of the bandits where one of the people they adopted the woman, you know, when she spoke about the fact that those were in demands,
Yes.
right? And the truth of it is this: anything can happen because she can be speaking under
Duress.
under duress, right?
Sure.
But the truth of it is, if you are not there, you can't feel it.
Absolutely.
No,
And
You don't know how
Yeah.
it pains.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I was speaking to somebody, we were discussing about what if you negotiate with them and you let these people go, even the people who are adopted, they cannot be the same again. And I said, even if they cannot be the same again, are you suggesting that you level it to ground zero?
Never.
It was because the person who is there is not a family member.
Yes.
If it is a family member, you
True.
rather wait. We have people with people living with disabilities. You have people with serious medical conditions, and their families are still unwilling to let go.
Beyond opinion. I want to highlight one person in particular. Very direct question. Oriyomi Hamzat.
Oh,
Yes, of Accord. We're still trying to finalize the Accord issue, but let's imagine they go to court and they're able to resolve this. Oriyomi Hamzat, he has a huge following,
Great.
grassroots following.
great.
He has media built influence. Do you
Yes.
think this media built influence can somehow translate into
And you knowing him closely to
Yeah.
some extent,
yeah?
Alaji.
yes.
Wait, hold
My
on.
man.
Can it translate to real electoral structure? Do you think Oriyomi Hamzat can actually be governor of your state?
Do you think you have all it takes?
Does he have enough state spread? Has he thrown his tentacles around the western region, the Oyo part? Does he have enough spread to win
see,
the elections?
Yes, yeah. If it is about this election,
Yes.
if it is about having spread, Oriyomi Hamzat is a popular candidate with a
Okay.
very, very good spread.
Okay.
But
Can it translate?
No, but can that translate into winning an election?
Yeah.
Yes, it can. Because votes is by numbers.
Yes.
You
But-
win by numbers. But you win by numbers.
Yeah.
But then the question should be, does Oriyomi Hamzat as an individual going into that election possesses the qualities of what people are looking out for? And what do I mean by people?
What are they
now,
looking out for?
No, hold on. What do I mean by people? It's the same people that are going to vote. Let people go and make their choice at the poll. But for somebody like myself,
Yeah.
and Alaji knows this, Alaji does not come to me as somebody that he's not a bad person. He's a great guy.
He was my boss.
Yes, your boss. Yes, and as
Yeah.
far as the industry is concerned, he's somebody that I respect so much.
Absolutely.
But going into that election, I don't think it comes into the first three people I will want to root for going into that election. And it is
Why?
the thing is, there is quite a whole lot of issue. It will take a whole podcast on its own that we can start
Why
identifying
Oriyomi
with.
Hamzat?
He's
I
even a better philanthropist than some other people calling themselves philanthropists, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the truth of it is, we should look at it from this perspective. Are we really doing philanthropy to actually touch the people, or we've been doing philanthropy to wet the ground because we want to run
Contest.
for election? Because all these people saying that I'm a philanthropy, for how many years have you
Have you
done
been
this philanthropy that all of
for?
a sudden you just say that you want to run election? So the question is, amongst all of these candidates that we have currently, minus the ones that we know that they are career politicians, right? Somebody like Barrister Sharafaddin Ali has been a career politician,
Yes.
from being a chairman of a local government to becoming an SSG to becoming a senator for running for governor about twice or thereabout, right? To becoming a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
Yeah.
a high chief in the city, right? And somebody that a whole lot of people respect.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And the truth of it is, for somebody like me, I don't think it will be out of place for somebody like that to say he wants to run. But
Yeah, of course.
yes, so this is a career politician separate.
Yes,
Now, for Alhaji Oriyomi Hamzat, is coming from the backdrop of being a philanthropist, somebody who contributes to the lives of the people, gives them a listening ear and all of that. See, what percentage of those people are we even talking about? Fortunately, those are the people that will go out on the day of election. People like you, myself, and her might not even be willing to stand the rigors of having to stay under the sun and monitor our votes and all of that. Some of us,
the grassroots do.
The people that are going to be out there on the day of election are the people who are rooting out for Oriyomi Hamzat. And trust me, let me tell you, everybody in these elections understands the fact that Oriyomi Hamzat is a force. Without being sentimental about it. So there are only two things you can do. Devise a strategy to either ensure that is possibly not on the ballot, or you have a very strong campaign strategy to let people see that it's not good enough for them.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? That this is
but
not.
do you think it's good enough?
For me, I don't think Alhaji is good enough to govern on your state. Maybe later in future, if he possibly equip himself and get some things right. But
Things like
Alhaji, Alhaji doesn't really appear to me. So to say, Alhaji does not really appear to me as somebody who has what it takes. What are the things like what it takes? What aside the media work that is done? What are other experiences
that you have outside?
That I'm a journalist, I'm a media person.
Shemakade didn't really have a lot of experience before you became governor. I know he's been doing
I understand.
Political experience, yes.
Yes, political experience, yes.
He doesn't have, but
no political experience. He has political experience. And let me tell you, I said somebody who has run for election like twice. That twice alone is 8 years of gathering experience. 8 years of building a structure that he ended up using to become a governor. 8 years of putting yourself in their faces. 8 years of philanthropic work with Omitutu's project.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think Oriyomi needs that time.
8 years.
Oriyomi needs time.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. He needs to cook properly.
So he should continue.
Yes, he can continue. And in the course of cooking properly, he also needs to network.
Exactly.
Right?
Thank you.
You do understand? He also needs to network. He also needs to build a solid team around himself and around his campaign. Take for instance, you ask yourself, who are the people who are at the forefront of what he's doing? Even if you have deficiencies in some cases, they will say, show me your friend and
I'll tell you
who you are. Have you been on the street to go and campaign for Alhaji? Will you stand in front of people and be campaigning? These are the questions I was asking on the Twitter space that almost got me into trouble.
Yes,
I was saying that, okay, fine. If you say that you are a philanthropist, and you say that you go here, you drop money here, you drop money there, what is the quality of life of the people around you?
God bless you.
Do you understand? For somebody like Alhaji, the quality of life of people around him is improving. We've had Alhaji send people to Hajj. We've had Alhaji bought vehicles for some of his staffs. We've had Alhaji bought houses or built houses for some people. We've had him do some humanitarian work and all of that. Of course, people like that, you expect them to be at the forefront of his campaigns because they are beneficiaries of his goodwill.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if somebody like that is now, I think doing that alone is one of the things that drove the traffic.
Yeah.
But some other people are saying that they are philanthropists and they have done this, they have done that. The quality of life of people around them, how improved are those things? Look at it. You know, when I was talking about him about the company the other time, I said he won't come to you as somebody who is a philanthropist.
He's a pure technocrat.
That yes, I won't come to you like I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. Yes, if you are in politics, you can now start saying that. Do you understand what I'm saying? If Barrister Sharafuddin Ali is saying that he's a philanthropist and all of that, he has every reason to call himself a philanthropist. Why? Because he's been part of government since over 20-something years ago.
On the Twitter space, you've been trending about this philanthropist, what I'm doing and everything.
I say what I said.
There are persons that have been alleged to have picked your voice and played to the person. Who is the person you're referring to?
Yes, I think it was just a few days ago. We were having a conversation about, just as we're talking politics right now, we're having a conversation around political figures in your state, people who are aspiring to be governors. We're talking about Bimbo Adekombi, of course, is in the race. We're talking about Oriyomi Hamzat. We're talking about Bayo Adelabo. We're talking about Agbaoye Adegoke.
Yeah.
Right. And the conversation was from one person to another. And I remember that for me, I'm a very blunt person. And I said, for Bayo Adelabo, to me, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Yeah.
Excellence, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
And it does not have it.
And that also tells on the people around you, your investments, where you work, and all of that. And I was making mention of some of the establishments that can be traced to
him.
Bayo Adelabo, the likes of Base One, Base One Premium, Best Western, and this other pitch at Akinola Maja.
Yes.
And you look at the management of those facilities and you ask yourself, if this place are currently being managed this way, how do you intend to manage the states? These are the questions. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they are questions that we should be asking in the truest form of it. And when it got to Oloye, I was talking about the fact that I just needed to be told how many people that, of course, is a philanthropy. Is a philanthropist who go here, donate money here, donate money there, donate money here, donate money here. And I was drawing a comparison between his philanthropic work and the one being done with Alhaji Oriyomi Hamzat. Just like I said, you work at Fresh FM, you know how many people that IFLA has bought vehicles for, right? People who are using official vehicle while working there and all of that. And I'm saying that if Oloye has that amount of wealth that we see him throw up and down, left and right. Oloye Adegboyega. That if he has if he has that kind of wealth that we see, he should also, they say charity begins at home.
Yeah.
He should reflect on his workforce.
So you feel Oloye's humanitarian work or philanthropic work is not reflecting on these people?
The question is, it should be part of their campaign. They should go all out to tell us whose life
they have impacted.
So like I can tell you people who has gotten vehicles with Oriyomi Hamzat. Just 2 or 3 days ago, Bravo Lee said that Bravo Lee posted that he got a vehicle. From getting a watch from Oriyomi Hamzat. He posted it before yesterday that he promised that he's going to get him a car, and he got a car. Skelebe got a car.
No way. Are you serious?
Skelebe got a car. Bravo Lee has gotten a car.
Nice.
People have gone to Hajj. These are things that we can mention
He
about
has
people
done.
who
We can
work
see.
with him. So at Fresh FM, we can mention people who have gotten a car.
Daddy got a Jeep.
Okay, I don't know when Daddy got it. So I can tell you that Mr. Sportos got a Venza as well there. And other people as well who has been rewarded for what they've done. And I'm asking, is a question.
What have you done?
What have you done?
How
And
many
because it
lives
was
have
on
you
the Twitter
impacted?
space, some people who work with Oloye took the recording and
Do you know those people?
of course, they took the recording and took
Do you
it
mention
there.
their names?
Of course, Sam Adeniran is executive advisor and all of that. Took the recording and all of that. And for me, it's just about these are feedbacks
Yeah.
that you expect that, oh, this is what I heard, and I feel that if I'm going to respond, if we have to respond, we just have to respond by telling people, because this is my style of campaign.
Yeah.
I don't focus on the negatives. I have an election to win. I'll be out there speaking positives about my candidate and his works.
Absolutely.
Not pick up on people who are alleging.
Yes.
So if you understand political communication, because the more you dwell on
What
that
people are
question,
saying.
you are giving bad publicity the more.
Absolutely.
So I feel that when I raise these concerns, it's about coming out to say that, okay, fine, probably you do a video of those people that their lives has been benefited. You know, the beneficiaries of these good works, to do a video and post it. That will shut me down.
It might even be,
or even mention names of people who has gotten vehicles. Or mention names of people that you've sent to, people you've established businesses for.
I mean, if that's what you're seeking, he could stage that. He could just.
I don't even. Yes, you can even stage it. It's part of. No, the reason why I'm saying that. No, the reason why I'm saying that
we
is
should
this.
start staging it.
The truth of it is this: there are things that you can go and fact check. So if it is staged as well, you can go and fact check it. Just the same way we're saying that. What if that video that was dropped from Oriri was under duress?
Yeah.
You don't know until you go and find out. So even if it is staged, gullible people might
pick it. Yeah.
Might pick it. But for people who are so intentional about stuff like this, we'll still go and do our own findings and check.
So finally, we need to round this off right now. It's been very wonderful. The conversation has been very amazing. It is beyond opinion. And I must congratulate you for the success 3SC I've made as a football club. 3SC has been very fantastic in recent times. Sure, some of it, a lot of people have attributed that to Governor Shea Makinde as fulfilling part of his promises as regards sporting and what have you. When I mean sporting activities right now, for all of the people that do 1 odd or 2 odds, that's not it. So what has been the success? How has been the whole situation? How overwhelming is it that 3SC have gotten a continental? Pick it from where you guys picked it from, because you're also a very vocal a person for the Shooting Stars till now. What magic happened that made us had this success?
I think for me, it started by just a conversation with a very good listener to me, and it was just a conversation I was with Otunbashe Famojuro one day, and we're having a conversation about the development of the states, and we spoke extensively about youth and sports, and I was particular about Shooting Stars, and I was outlining some of the things that I feel is possible and things I feel that should be done. And if those things are properly done, if we tick those boxes, then there'll be progress.
What are the things that the government?
Yes, I was talking about revenue generation at the stadium. I was talking about media projection and branding of the club. I was talking about being intentional about the operational management of the club, right? In terms of on-field and off-field football activities, because it's into two. You have the on-field, you have the off-field, which is the business end of the conversation, and the conversation continued to go, and it escalated to the point where he saw the passion, the energy, and he saw that I might possibly not back down asking these questions. And he said, well, the truth of it is, me, I don't understand what you're saying. No, I'm not a football person, but what I'll do is that I'll get you an audience with the governor, and you can go and outline whatever it is that you want to outline with the governor. And the appointment came. It was supposed to be a 15-minute meeting, and we're already saying, governor knows that you have a loose mouth. He will just be looking at you. So when you are done, and when you are done, we'll just probably say a word or two, and that's the end. I cared less. My own is that these are the problems. This is how we can fix it. If the audience comes, fine. If it does not, we will continue to put it out there that these are the issues, because we will see that there is going to be a problem. And we are seeing it already. When you have a team that got promoted under this administration, the first year in the league, they narrowly escaped relegation by becoming 16th. The second season was an abridged league. The team came 6th. The third season, the team came 4th, narrowly missing out on Continental. From 4th, in the 4th season, the team that came 4th the previous season came 8th. The following season. So it was back and forth, and you need to put a structure to actually build a structure that allows you to, if you come forth this year, if you cannot come third the following year, at least come forth again. People will see that from that consistency, you might probably by chance hit the third spot and qualify for the continent. And when I met with His Excellency, we spoke about all of these issues. We spoke about gate takings, how much revenue is being made from Adama Singba, how the club can self-sustain itself in 4 years if they get the necessary support and right infrastructure and all of that. And it was a conversation that it wasn't even me talking. It was me picking the issue, His Excellency responding to it. A 15 minutes conversation moved into about 40-45 minutes or thereabout. So
nice.
where it was a conversation.
So it was a conversation.
It was a proper conversation.
Okay.
And I remember that very morning was a morning where people were already attacking Wiki for investing that much money on the renovation of International Conference Center Abuja. And it was that morning that responded by declaring the amount of money they have made from renting that space out to justify the investment. So I was asking from a point of view that if we spend over 5 billion naira to put up this sporting infrastructure in the states, how much are we even making from Adamasingba?
But then,
And that is why we have to tighten up the security and ensure that the
Makes
revenue
sense.
goes up. And I can tell you categorically currently that the revenue from gate takings alone in Adamasingba has moved from what it was. The growth is about over 300%
Nice.
in 1 year. So you know what 300% means in terms of revenue
So
generation.
I'm spending allegedly over, about 5 billion to put the infrastructure there. Do you think the infrastructure we have at the Lagos Anani Stadium is worth the amount?
It's not the stadium. It's not Lagos Salami Stadium alone. Across the entire
across
state.
across,
Yes,
yeah.
you have Olubadan Stadium as
Olubadan
part of
too.
it. You have the Shaki Township Stadium
Yes.
as part of it. You have Stadium in Oyo as part of it.
The money is pumped into. Do you think the facility we are having justifies that amount?
You have to evaluate it. I don't know the contract details, and you cannot assess just by what you're seeing on the outside. There are facilities that it is until when you go inside, you see some other things that they've put in place. Like currently, it was one day that I discovered that there are CCTV cameras in Adamasingba that can see as far as Cocoa House.
And it's still functioning.
Yes, they're functioning.
Nice.
This is me telling you this. I didn't know before until there was an event that they turned on the CCTV cameras and I discovered that, wow, this is actually here. And that is just one of it. Because you can do an assessment from the outside. But when you ask the right questions, they will take you there and see for yourself, assess and evaluate. And sometimes you cannot really measure by the amount of money spent, but about the amount of lives that will be touched with that facility. Currently, if you go to Lagos Salami Sport Complex on weekends, you see people using the basketball court, you see people using the lawn tennis court,
yes.
you see people even use the volleyball court, the private tennis court for events.
Yeah.
Right, the indoor sport hall as well. People have been using them for events
But
and all of that.
I don't
But
think
the
it's
project
right.
is not.
I don't think it's
completed
right.
yet.
That they use.
I saw the tennis court.
They stopped it
The
now.
indoor.
They stopped it because they are not making it's for sports.
Yes.
They are now using it for entertainment, and it's because
Yes.
we also have deficits in entertainment
Yes.
spaces and all of that. Just like we have deficits,
Infrastructural deficits.
just like we have deficits in parks and gardens.
So they've stopped.
They've stopped.
that now.
They've stopped. They've stopped. They've
Have,
stopped.
have
They've
they
stopped.
made provisions for new spaces? We
So
could
that's
use?
not for the sport development too.
That is
to
outside.
handle.
That is
That's
outside.
outside
That
space.
is what culture and tourism are supposed to
do. Now, so
handle.
the shooting star finished third
Yes, we finished
on the
all.
league table. Congratulations.
Yes.
On
yes.
that. I was there at the celebration party. We coincidentally met. I went there to lounge.
Okay.
And I saw you.
Yes,
and I realized that you were there to
I was
celebrate.
there. Yes,
and I celebrated with you guys.
Yes.
It was very beautiful. What do you think you guys have done differently to attain this content sport that you
we
have
have
right
to
now?
first and foremost appreciate the forward-thinking governor himself by being intentional about that is just one issue raised that he fixed almost in the immediate in 10 months. And what did we do differently? First and foremost, he appointed somebody who is very passionate about shooting stars himself, which is the appointment of Honorable Taiwo Lekon Salami. And
So how's Lekon Salami, Honorable Taiwo Lekon Salami, how is it related to the Lekon Salami that's named after the stadium?
it's the father.
The father?
Yes.
Okay.
Taiwo Lekon Salami is the son to the founder of the club.
Yes.
Lekon Salami, Chief Lekon Salami
Lekon Salami.
founded Shooting Stars.
Okay.
Right.
I don't put that for
from
records.
WNDC to ICC Shooting Stars and now
Okay.
to 3SC. And
Yes.
the 3SC Shooting Stars Sports Club of Ibadan.
Yes.
Right. And coming on board, you will definitely understand it runs in the gene, right? The blood is blue. So he was so intentional about wanting to restructure, re-engineer, and reposition the club. He was working on those three key agendas, and him coming on board also means that he was willing to work with relevant stakeholders to achieve this, from the supporters club to people in the media to some of us who are also passionate about the club, bystanders and all of that. So he was willing to throw his door open for everybody to come with their ideas and all of that. And putting all of that together, you complain, you bring it. I complain, we bring it. You complain, you bring yours. Synthesize it and prefer solutions.
Okay, so
And
because
that
we need to
was-
round off right now, I would really want to crave indulgence. I intentionally want us to end this question with the treatment style. I think we need to have another edition
Okay.
where we are discussing treatises fully.
Beyond opinion.
You're an embodiment of a lot
I
of
said he
things.
wears a lot of hearts.
Yes, so I must say we don't even know we've spoken this long, but we need to round it right now. We'll bring it back. We'll bring him here
Absolutely.
again where we'll discuss other things. I want to say thank you for for coming. Fact check, he was not in the city even as of today.
Yes, I was.
So when I contacted him, he was in Port Harcourt, and
Yes, I
I
was.
was even getting to fear he would have jet lag, when he landed and
no.
everything. And immediately he came down here. I want to say thank you to
Now,
you.
long man, you know we be.
Yeah. Thank you for honoring the invitation. Thank you for the
Thank
respect.
you.
Always,
Yeah.
And
always.
thanks for all you do. We'll bring you back here again.
It's a
So,
gonna be a
from
pleasure.
Abigail Brown, before you go,
It's
your
been
part of
an
what?
amazing time. Trust me, I had fun having this conversation. Like I said, we still have a lot of things to talk about.
We'll talk about
Because there's
that.
a project I want you to look into, but we'll talk about that
That's
after
this one.
the show.
All
But
right.
thank you for spending this time with us. Do not forget, we are live on all socials. You can follow us on our social media platform. Yes, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. We're live. It's Beyond Opinions. My name is Abigail Brown, the King's Wife.
You call
Love
me
you.
Dandy, and I love you forever. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks to our guests too for being
Thank
here.
you.
We'll do this again.
You're welcome.
Thank you. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.
Beyond Opinion.